Hello, I'm Karle and he's Tony, and well, I suppose he's love and I'm engineering because he's the director. But love and engineering, it's basically a tool for sort of kickstart one's romantic life. So Tony can explain more.
Hey, I'm Tony Slav. It's always nice when they say it, award-winning director, so it's like, woo, been there, done that. Okay, our film, Love and Engineering, tells the story of four engineers that spent most of their time in internet. They work in Nokia, Ericsson, big companies. They have thousands of friends in Facebook, Second Life, followers on Twitter and everything. But in real life, in the first life, they don't know how to start a normal conversation. Now, in the age of 30, they need love, family, friends, and they don't know how to start this. In help comes another expatriate engineer who 3 years ago was in the same situation, and to solve his problems, he started developing a formula. He named it, How to Break Every Woman's Firewall. Now, he started developing it, and after he finished the first draft of the formula, 3 weeks later he was married, and now he has a 1-year-old child. Now he comes to help our engineers and solve their problems. So let's see the trailer. You can dim a little bit.
I'm really shy when it comes to like talking women and also meeting people. Not meeting people in general, but meeting girls. I actually haven't had a girlfriend. That's the main reason I'm trying now, because well, I kind of have been single for the last 30 years.
This is the grand title of the presentation. Secret Weapons of the Pickup Masters. I'm giving the presentation since I already got married, so this is, let's say, the practical proof that it is possible for an engineer to find a wife. You know how this front-end conversation works, and you will know how to get behind the firewall. There is this very nice hack. When you're in a big party, you talk with your back to a girl. So she's there, and then you say, I wonder what is this party for? And then she's saying, this is the party, this one. And then you're asking, what? And then I was thinking you're talking to me. And then it looks like she started the conversation. There is the hack. There is the hack
That's the hack, yeah.
This is HTTP style. There is the hack that she thinks she opened the conversation.
You shouldn't talk about
Technology with the girl.
Yes.
That's a main thing.
Yes.
Have your own opinion.
yeah,
Yes.
your
Uncle
own
said.
opinion.
Show strength of character.
Yeah.
Show own opinion.
Yeah.
Don't stare.
I think I should. Yeah.
Big building near the... Yeah.
Salad is a nice option, but if you like something else.
Did you decide already?
Yes.
Okay. Mozzarella salad. Nice choice.
Yes,
Yeah.
nice choice.
Yeah. Really nice choice. Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah, I guess I could take the same. Yeah. So we are equal. Cheers to that.
So are you in Verona IT?
Yeah, I am.
I work in Verona IT.
Okay, cool.
You are very good.
Okay. Atanas comes once in a week to Helsinki. He lives in Tampere, and he helps our guys, giving them different hacks and tasks how to go on. In the film story, let's say the first half will be following up the guys. We hope that some of them will find love, some will not. But in the process of the drama, we will understand that actually, I don't know, it's a question. Can you control love and feelings? And then if you can, till what kind of level? In the second half of the film, we will see Atanas' wives, which will actually tell us that she didn't fall in love with him because of his tricks, but she fell in love with him because he tried so hard. So this was so adorable. Now the cross-media part comes really strong for us because Atanas wishes to develop an application and to help to everyone in the world who have problems socializing. And when we start the film, we hope to go in production of the film next year, let's say January or February. And at the same time, we are planning to launch a website where once per week or per 2 weeks, we're going to be posting different hacks from the movie we are filming at the same time. So people can go online and try once per week different hacks, how to go in a social situation and find women. Of course, they can come back then to the site and then post their comments, blog about it. We are going to encourage them to take videos, and then Atanas will tell them what and why went wrong. The point is that Atanas will get all these real feedbacks from people, and then in the film, he's going to have much more clear idea what works and what doesn't work, because now all his hacks been tested only on him, and he wish to have as many, how he named them, guinea pigs as possible. So we hope, basically this is how it looks, and there is a graphic designer who got paid for this graphic show. Yeah. So basically, I think it's quite clear. He's not 3 years old. But the time when we do the film production, at the same time we'll launch the website, and then we hope to get feedback from the people. And then, of course, there is a game kind of when you give feedback and when you go more and more and more on the website and you test more and more different hacks, you're going to gain also a level, which means you're going to more experience. You gain more experience. So actually, in some level, you can teach other people how to go on date or how to approach women or how to be more socially active. When we go in the post-production level of the film, we will have all the information and data, and we will create an application. Application will be, let's say, first date, second date, third date. So everyone who is scared to go out on dating or approaching a woman, he will have this kind of what he should do. Like, for example, there are simple tricks like on the 3rd minute you ask her what's her favorite color, and if she says brown, on the 7th minute you start talking about chocolates. Then on the 12th minute you start talking about things that might relate to chocolate, and so on and so on. On the first date you take her to as many places as possible, because kind of in the brains, it's not like the time is not like a football where there is a 90 minutes, but it's more like a hockey game where you actually have real pauses and it might take forever. So in some time, she might feel, if you have changed 4 bars, that she have more experience with you. So these kind of things, of course, there's going to be a panic button where if you panic, you just push in the toilet, and then there is a voice recognition like the male version of Siri, where Atanas will tell you, like, okay, what's happening? And then you're going to say, okay, I'm here, we don't have what to talk about. It's 12th minute, and I'm panicking here. So you're going to get some feedbacks what to do. Of course, in the application, you're going to be getting once per week or per 2 weeks some tricks and tips what you should try. There is a 3-second rule which says, like, wherever you see some attractive woman, just you have 3 seconds to go and talk to her, because most of the people kind of after the 3rd second start thinking, is she going to really talk to me, and so on and so on. Events are very important to us because some of the guys organize huge events in Scandinavia where more than 3,000 people come together in an ice hockey place, and they connect their computers and then start like socializing virtually, but they never say hi to the person next to them. So they can play or talk or be super active, but never turn to left or right. So we are planning the same events to turn kind of a little bit into like socializing more, and then kind of make the people to really talk and meet each other. And of course, in that sense, we are gonna, it's really hard to be yourself in that kind of situation. So we are also thinking the idea of giving kind of a character presentation of each guy, because much easier to be a character of Lord of the Rings than to be yourself and get dumped. So it was Frodo's fault. So this is what kind of how we are like seeing the process. And I don't know what to say more. Yeah, the language is English because most of those guys, they're from different countries. There is Atanas is Bulgarian, Russian, English, and so on. But the point is that they all speak English language. So thank you for giving us this time. And just 5 more seconds. That producer. We still have 1 minute.
Not on my iPhone, you
Okay,
don't.
just the producer can have 20 seconds to say.
You actually went over. You've gone over about
we
a
have,
minute.
no, for the film we have with us Finnish TV, YLE, Norwegian TV, Anarchy. It's not Anarchy, it's NR, whatever. And Bulgarian TV, and we're talking with Tete of Arte, and we're going to have a second meeting with them.
We can
next
carry on
Monday, and
talking
that's-
about that as we sit down. Thank you. Come and join me on the stage, because Tomislav has a plane to catch as well, so even more reason to carry on fast in 20 minutes. So I'd like to welcome onto the stage Nuno Bernardo from Be Active, Portugal, Nick Cohen, UK Head of Mediacom Beyond Advertising, Karin Johansson Mex, Head of Medea Collaborative Media Initiative, Sweden, Matthew Kershaw, Content Director, BBH, UK, Simon Lövind, Head of Game Support, DFI, Denmark, and Vida Toombs, Head of Content Europe, VBS TV, so for Vice magazine. Now, I'm going to start with Nuno. So Nuno, I wanted to ask you a question really, and to get to feedback to the team about the kind of format really, because this project obviously has an audience, that's kind of universal across different territories. How it's a film, it's a feature film, and there is a kind of interactive idea, web and mobile. How do you feel it all fits together, and how do you feel there's a kind of format that could be packaged really nicely in that film and sold?
I think it is. It was an amazing pitch. I think it's an amazing project. I think it's universal, talks directly to the thousands of people, or millions of people that are online and using social media. I think there's so many things that can be done there. I think there's the feature film that looks like a mockumentary.
It's a documentary.
It's a documentary.
But it's scripted, so it's...
No. There is nothing
It's a
scripted
documentary.
there.
It's real.
Well,
Okay.
the main guy scripts the tricks, but it's part of a documentary. It's a documentary.
There is nothing scripted there. Really. You just go with them for
Wait, so
hours
we-
and you get
let's-
like
let's
this.
carry on. So, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I think it's a story that can be reversion, can lead to so many seasons, can lead to so many, whatever is a movie, whatever is a television series. I remember when Hitch came out, the movie, there was in development in the States, there was like 3 or 4 series based on the same concept about some love doctor that was helping people with trying to find women. So I think that there is definitely a market for bringing this as a television series. I think there is amazing, the app I think will be a huge success. You mentioned the events, and I think you mentioned the cyber parties where people all around the world connect in rooms to talk to each other through computers. I think there's an alternative market for you to release the movie or release the content, because you can use these big spaces where you have 300, 1,000, 3,000 people, and this could be, they are already there, so you can have a screening of the movie, whatever is for free, whatever they have to pay, and use that for them to then know your app and know your website and probably use that already existing network. So I think there is a lot of money to be made on events. I think there will be lots of opportunities for product placement and sponsorship, especially because there is, you already mentioned a few brands because they work for well-known international companies. And I think many more other companies will be willing to invest because it's funny, it's comedy. I think we'll do really well on the web. I think people will take short parts of your video and they will share legally or illegally on the internet, and then it will make the brand and the concept even more international and much more appealing.
But you think it should be expanded, the whole sort of brand, Love and Engineering, as opposed to they should concentrate on expanding that brand, as opposed to doing
If
this
I was
too.
developing this and I was kicking my head because I didn't have this idea, that was the way I will do it. I will use the movie as a starting point because I think you have something that is very engaging because you already have a community. The jokes and the comedy, I think it's universal. You saw the reaction in the audience. So it has so much potential to bring this as a series, web series, doing spin-offs, doing live events, and even create one guy that will be like the love doctor that travels international and gives advice for software engineers all around the world.
He is already so.
So I'm actually going to move. I'm going to go back to the people who are sort of more into the brand and commercial space, and I'm just going to go into the Nordic region to just talk a bit about the funding possibilities there. But thank you, Nuno. Next, I'm going to go to Simon. At the Danish Film Institute, you have as a rare fund that sits inside a film institute. How easy is it for a Finnish producer to cooperate with you? Can they apply? Does it have to be for a Danish producer, or does a game or whatever they're producing? Is it a matter of producing it in Denmark? And what kind of advice could you give them as well as an expert?
Yeah. First of all, thanks for the presentation. Well, first of all, it's a national film institute, so you have to be a Danish registered company. But of course, you can ally with a Danish developer, and that is a possibility if you're, for the part that I'm involved in, the gaming part is by a Danish game producer, even though it's a Finnish...
Sorry, can you speak into the mic?
Yeah, sorry,
okay?
it's because I'm trying to look at them at the same time. Even though... if you have a Danish game producer, even though it's a Finnish project, we could fund them or their work, which you, of course, would benefit from. But I think I think you have some interesting possibilities and also interesting problems in getting this right, because you have a lot of time issues, because your interactive part is kind of before the film, or it's necessary to produce the film. As the way, if I understood the layout right, the neatly designed graphic, that you have to have the interactive application up and running to actually finish your film. Is that correct? Because you need feedback.
No, only the website with people's comments,
Only the website,
but
okay.
not the application. The application is something additional. We'll just Atanas make at the end. Because it's not about it. We don't need it for the film.
Okay. Okay, because I was along the line that you...
The website is only needed for people's feedback, so actually Atanas can get the proper answers to his hacks.
Yeah.
Do you want to carry on?
If it was an episodic format,
So
you could actually integrate it, so you have pre-produced parts and quickly produced parts that will actually generate attention to the interactive part and back to the cinema, the televised part, and that would actually help also financing the interactive part as a necessary part to do the television part. Yeah. So it's a bit tricky.
And how would that work on a territorial basis? Because thinking in terms of something you would relicense,
Yeah,
that's
but
quite...
then it would be a package, and you would kind of have to travel and reproduce it again and again. So, and of course you would have to want to. Of course you have this really weird thing. It's a Finnish project, no doubt about it. That you can do. You always take deadpan humor to another level. You know, like, is it dead or is it deadpan humor? You know, you don't know. And you know, he took it for a comedy, and no, it's a documentary. It's a straight documentary, and you have to play with this. And I think when it comes to the interactive part and the gaming part, from my perspective, this is really the tricky part: how to deal with the sincerity that you put into it as a documentary, and at the same time you're all laughing. So you have to find a very subtle balance there, but. If you crack that nut, you know, I think a lot of people will put down their money.
Thanks, Simon. I'm going to move on to Karin. Karin, for those of you who weren't here this morning, runs a collaborative media initiative out of Malmö University and helps with private companies' R&D projects. So I know you know this project because you've been involved in it.
Yeah, I know, because actually my previous position, which I ended in May, I had the privilege that I was working as the head of Film Contact Nord. Film Contact Nord is in charge of the strengthening and the financing and distribution of Nordic films. in regard to documentaries and short films. And while I was working at Film Contact Nord, we initiated an event together with Hot Talks, where we took 12 producers from Europe and 12 producers from the Nordic, from Canada and North America, and they met at Hot Talks. And we actually then had the privilege of having these guys there. And it's just so beautiful and so wonderful to see the development of this project, that it's really, I can see and hear that you have really listened and taken in the information and all the input that you've had.
Can I ask you a question more about where going from now, sort of like in terms of funding? You
Yeah.
have a lot of knowledge in terms of
Yeah.
Sweden as well, about where they go next.
I do have that, but I also know that these guys also have it, because I know that you already work to the places that are essential. You've been to Nordisk Panorama, you went to the pitch for cross media at Nordisk Panorama, and Making Movies Oi, I can tell everybody, they have a wonderful reputation as a production company. And I just say that the theme that you have is fantastic, and now when I'm working academia, I can tell you that on my school I can gain up tons of users. And I also would say that the issue of the Finnish men, whether or not that question is interesting worldwide, I can tell you guys it really is. They've done Rules of Single Life, wonderful documentary, traveled all around the world. We have the sauna film coming from Steam of Life. Finnish guys sitting naked in saunas talking about life. Everybody in the world loves it. So basically I just say that these guys are the shit, I would say. And because of that, I can do anything as possible that I could to help you guys further. So just give me a call, whatever. I'm just going to back you up as much as I can.
Thank you, Karen. So now I'm going to move over to sort of more the brand space and platform space, and I'm going to ask Matthew some advice about the project. Now, we've got Matthew's biography on, we put Karen's on in his place, so sorry, apologies, Matthew. So Matthew is... Matthew is a partner and content director at Bartel Bogle Hegarty, where he's worked on a range of accounts, including Barclays, Audi, LG, and prior to this he was head of interactive at MTV. So I wanted to ask Matthew about the kind of brand possibilities. Would a brand be interested in getting involved in this project? And which part? Is it more in terms of, you think, the app part, or would you see it overall as something they might sponsor?
Well, I mean, certainly it's a very engaging, proposition. So I've been sort of checking on the, on the Twitter feed, and Submarine, FCFP, Dino Boy. Don't know if you're out there, but everyone's saying, "Oh, this is so funny, it's hilarious," and that's something that always connects with people. And I think the other thing about this that's interesting is that it's. I'm from outside of the transmedia bubble, but a lot of what I've seen today has been basically could have been an amazing, just linear experience. It would be a great documentary, or sci-fi thriller, or whatever it might be. And then it felt like a lot of the other stuff was kind of add-on. It feels like this is not only a great linear documentary, but has something that really is genuinely useful to people. There are a lot of people who really are like this, guys who really have this problem. So I think that's really, that's sort of interesting. I don't know, for myself, I'm not sure, no brands kind of spring to mind as being like the go-to brand. I mean, Google's tagline at the moment is "the web is what you make of it." So, but I think they probably don't want to be seen as being too associated with a lot of these geeks, to be fair. I think what you could do though with it is you could almost build your own brand. So I would go, I think the name is brilliant. Love and Engineering is quite off-putting for people who aren't engineering oriented. I think you could come up with a better name and title and start to build some real equity around that, because that is something you can build and you can have your own brand, which then becomes, the app and the website and a tour and events and big conferences, and I think you could do something really incredible with this. I don't think it's just because I'm on this particular jury, but for me this is by far the best pitch I've seen all day, the one I'm most interested in. To wrap up, I think also it's clever the way you've got your web bases, your beta testing group. I think that's really interesting to see that as a beta test before you sort of go live. So that's, I don't know if that's been helpful, but I really wish you a lot of luck with that. I think it's really great. Oh, the other thing I would say is, in my head, I wasn't seeing this as TV even. I was seeing this as a film. You know, I think this needs that kind of big spike of, you know, you've got all this beta testing, you've got all this activity, you could do a lot of promotion, and I don't see why it couldn't be a film actually in mainstream theatres.
Or some kind of
Actually,
series.
we didn't say that. This is the idea. Because our previous film has been in cinemas in Finland and Bulgaria. So
I like the Bulgarian take on
So,
Finland as well.
Let's carry on there, because we can have your feedback right at the end. Because talking about that, the fact that this could be a different format, it could be, you know, there could be a series spin-off on it, whether it's web or television. I want to move to Vida then from Vice, because how does this sit with your demographic, and would this be the kind of project?
Yeah, I mean, this is completely perfect for us, I have to say. This is like classic character. Completely falling in love with him already. You can't be a good character. And for me, it's got like cult web series in the making. I mean, I would say that, you know, I guess one thing I would advise is maybe finding a media partner, not necessarily us, but maybe. Because one of the things I think, you know, today I've thought is, in fact, it's really important to partner up with people that have an established audience already, so you can get people excited about him and like I say, falling in love with him, and then get your numbers up and, you know, get people talking about it. And so, yeah, I mean, for me, it's awesome. I love it. And I think there's a lot we could probably do to help.
And would it be more sort of an episodic, again, something that would run for longer around a character you mentioned?
I think you'd definitely start out, you know, releasing his story, and people can get to know him, and then, yeah, I would say then the next phase would be people getting a chance to interact with him, getting a chance to get his advice, and then filming that process, and then eventually, when you've got it all in the can, maybe doing a theatrical. Maybe that's sort of what the plan is, but certainly it's a very, very strong pitch and a great character. I like it a lot.
Thanks.
He's even, I think he'd break my firewall.
He's married. Atanas, yeah. So moving on to Nick Cohen last. With your documentary hat and your new hat at MediaCom, how do you see this project?
I love it. I think it's brilliant. Really, really looking forward to watching it. And I think, as you were just touching on there, I think he's talent. I think that guy's brilliant. And if I was a talent agent, I'd probably try and sign him up, because I think there's something there, definitely. And I think the whole sort of Neil Strauss, the game thing, you know, it shows that people, you know, this sort of quirky area, lots of interest. I think you could do brilliantly well with this. If you can sustain the level of humour and the quality of what you've got there for an hour or 90 minutes, I think definitely if this could get a cinematic release or a really good slot, I'd love to watch, you know, for me it's sort of like, I imagine watching this on True Stories on Channel 4 or something like that, and you know, if you were doing that or you had a cinematic release, it would be straightforward, I think, to find the right sponsors to tie in with that.
And is there anyone at MediaCom you could think of?
In terms of brands, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I was thinking about, so rather than saying specific brands, I do think it's sort of any brand that is willing to have a bit of humour about the way that it puts forward an identity that's around love, I think, is good territory for this. And I think that's actually, I think there's some interesting brand territory that crosses over with this. I wouldn't be too literal about it, but I think if you could find someone that wasn't too directly associated with finding love or engineering or anything like that, but sort of had, you know, it's almost like Honda, the power of dreams, you know what I mean?
Or
it's
Lynx.
almost like, well, yeah. But you know, you've got that sort of the sort of sense of aspiration from an engineering background that might somehow be able to connect with it without feeling too naff. Could be interesting. And then in terms of sort of release, my feeling on it is the thing to concentrate on is the build, because I think you've got something really good here. I mean, you just look at the reaction in the room, you've got a fantastic short film there. If you can sustain that for a long film and it's a great release, don't undermine it by not getting the build right and the release plan right. So my advice, for what it's worth, is I would say I'd probably think more about him as talent and maybe think more about what the website is doing. So I was thinking perhaps you could secure all the documentary slots and distribution, try and get some sponsorship for them, and then kind of release the website not as a run up to the film, but more as Atonus's Love Lab or whatever, you know, like an online property that kind of works and feels a bit genuine, so that you've got that relationship. There's a community around that thing online who think it's funny and think it's, you know, engaging and warm and helpful. And then the doc is more of an observation of that. So the two things work really well together. And then I think once you've got the big spike of the doc being released, you can immediately get brand sponsorship onto that property, and you can do the app as a spin-off from it. So I think you've got, I would encourage a bit more thinking about the build, because you've got something really cool there, and it could be massive if you get it right, I think.
Thank you. So just 2 minutes feedback from...
Okay, yeah, well, first I want to say thank you. It's really nice hearing from you, and it's really good feedback. And yes, maybe I wasn't clear, but we are having, we are planning a feature, like actually feature-length film and cinema distribution and so on. How Kalle said, our previous film, it's still in cinemas in Bulgaria.
Some odd place.
Yeah, some odd place like Bulgaria. And then still going on to festivals, but yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have you got anything, Carl?
No, when we finished the pitch, I was talking about the public broadcasters. They all are interested also in cross-media part, but of course they haven't really done anything like this before, and it's going to be quite tricky to talk with them because of the commercial reasons and blah blah blah, and you know, well you understand. So we don't really know what's going to happen with these people.
In terms of bringing a brand in, or even
It's possible that we only let them to finance the film, and then
you treat the other part separately. Yeah.
But we don't know it.
Thank you very much, and thanks to the jury.